Live, and I'm live. Excellent. Okay. Now that you've had your brains thoroughly scrambled, I would hope. I went on Twitter in the afternoon because usually after the AP test, there's some interesting Twitter fodder in terms of memes, but there weren't really much. Probably because it was the second testing window and whatnot. Usually there's some like funny stuff about problems that y'all faced on that thing. I am going to be sending you it's open. There you go. I'm going to be sending you guys at some point today a survey to kind of debrief from this test that you guys took yesterday. Just debrief in terms of your opinions, your thoughts, topics that you saw, things of that nature. I'm going to be sending that to you. Again, it's just a survey. It's not really worth anything. It's mainly for me because, well, I just like to kind of prep for future years and things of that nature. Plus, it gives you an opportunity to kind of compartmentalize what y'all went through yesterday and whatnot. Man, sorry. It's just, I told you, I talked to Josh when when I came in here before. It was just I heard about that situation. It's just like, goodness, just want to punch a bus in the face. Anyway, but regardless, that's what I'm going to send you guys, kind of a debrief survey. Second, we still have to wrap up the year, but obviously you've taken your big AP test. I'm just moving the camera over because I want the people in the live stream as well to see the calendar. Just so you guys are aware, when you come back next week, I will have you on Wednesday and I will have you on Friday. And obviously I'm not going to be teaching anything brand new, but then it's the week of senior exams, in which, even though it's senior exams, I will still have you in this classroom on Tuesday and Thursday of that week. So I still have you after today for 4 main class periods, even with those seniors. And then the week after, during this week, that would be the seniors would be excused at that point. So on Monday the 14th, if you're not a senior, yes, I'm still going to be taking attendance that day. So if you're not a senior, the attendance will still count. So please keep that in mind. I'm still going to be taking attendance, although obviously we're not going to be, doing much that day. Perhaps, I have some ideas for what I'm going to do, but I'm going to save that for myself for now. Now, in lieu of that, we still have to finish up this year. And it's open. It's open. There you go. In lieu of that, we still have to finish up this year, but obviously I'm not going to be teaching anything brand new. So I do have, as I've been kind of hyping quietly for like months and months, I do have an end of year project that I am going to kind of kick off a little bit today by assigning you the first small part of it. Now, I'm not going to be assigning it exactly at this moment. I'm going to assign it before I leave here today. Bring this over here. Here we go. So please keep in mind, I am going to be sending you this PDF, which is going to walk you through the final project. But again, this is something that you're going to read on your own time, but it's basically explaining what I've had to do and change in regards to the final project due to the schedule changes and due to the restrictions still in the school. You all heard about the executive order that's going to affect later this week? Yeah, well, most of you then, yeah. But that doesn't really affect schools too much. We're still going to be moving forward the way that we are. Now, the reason why I have to do this is because I still have to put in a final exam grade for you. I still have to put in a final exam grade, but obviously I'm not going to be testing you on, giving you just like a multiple choice thing or a free response thing on AP Stat. I'd rather do this little project thing. Now, this project is going to be broken up into multiple parts, with grades also counting towards the 4th marking period, which I do have certain due dates that I've highlighted here, but you're going to be able to read these on your own time. And that's going to take us through to the senior exam date, which would be June 10th. But again, I'm going to assign this to you later today for you to read, but please make sure that you know that it is there, that you are going to be faced with that. It's fairly straightforward. It's fairly simple. Literally, the first step is just to come up with an idea, within the parameters of what I'm asking for. So you'll see, it's going to be very straightforward. So number one, you're going to get a survey I'm going to debrief from the test. Number two, you're going to get that assignment with the due dates and whatnot. Again, very straightforward. The first step is just to come up with an idea and to get it approved by me. And then we'll be able to move forward with those things. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I may have forgotten to say, if you have not left a comment in the chat, please make sure that you do so. I do see 6 people so far in the chat, but no comments so far. So please make sure that you do leave that comment. Okay. As for today, you just got your brain scrambled. I wanted to just kind of give you something to I don't even know how to word it per se, but just kind of something to kind of take your mind off things, and something that would still be kind of worth it to do. So I don't believe, you're going to have to answer this question for me. I don't believe that I've ever given you, have I given you an online room escape? No? Okay, this is going to be good then. I'm going to post a link into your Google Classroom, and you're going to need to access that link through your computers, of course, so please make sure you get those out. Obviously, this is not for a grade. This is just more for a, hey, I want to show you what this thing can do. You've heard of room escapes, I would hope. Well, this room escape is a little bit different. Copy, boom, paste, post, boom. If you go on your Google Classroom, there is a link that brings you to this website. Now, before January 1st, this website had so many different room escapes, so many different. But they all got taken down because Flash is no longer supported. But there still is one left. And I want you to go to this website, and I want you to mess around with this thing, because you have, as of right now, you have about 50 minutes to do this particular room escape. Now, I'm going to give you hints and suggestions along the way, but of course, you can share information with each other as well. You can turn your volume on, but I wouldn't have it like blasting, because there are going to be certain things that you're going to want to hear when this thing kind of loads up. Or not just when it loads up, but when you interact with objects. But basically, your Chromebooks should support this particular website. It doesn't actually use Flash to do it. But when you go to this website, basically the premise is that you are stuck in a room and that you have to escape. Here, let me hit one of those lights. There we go. So for those of you that are online in the live chat right now, obviously you hopefully heard my directions from before this whole thing, but this link obviously is available to you as well. The unfortunate thing is you wouldn't be able to hear the hints and suggestions that your classmates would say, but you'd be able to hear the hints and suggestions that I would say along the way. But here's how this thing works. You click play and you're stuck in a room. You can use your mouse to move about the room. Everything within this room is either a clue or you can interact with it. So for example, if you move the mouse to the left or to the right, these little arrows pop up and you can move your camera angle from around the room. There are just 4 main camera angles, obviously. There's not much you can do about those 4 angles. If you click, let's say, on the couch, you can pick up a pillow, but there's nothing there other than maybe an object. If you discover said object, you can click said object, and now it is in your inventory. If you have an object in your inventory, if you bring your mouse over it, a little plus sign pops up. If you click the plus sign, you can now interact with said object. Now, these objects can actually be turned in 3 dimensions, which is really nice. just in case there's a clue hidden on the other side. If you don't click the plus sign and instead click said object like that, if you look at the bottom left of my screen, you see now that the spool of thread is now highlighted in white. You can now possibly use that object to interact with something else in the room, but obviously at the moment, it's not doing anything. I can back out, deselect said object. You can go over to the table. Oh, I picked up another object. Click it, and it actually gives you those directions for clicking and rotating. To rotate an item, click and drag in any direction. And when you do that, there is a clue that happens to be on the back. A lot of these objects tend to have clues hidden within them. And sometimes you can actually interact with said object in this screen to actually move some things around. For example, hold on. I believe that is locked. And in fact, if you turn up your volume a little bit, I'll turn up mine. You could hear that that thing is indeed locked. That has a bolt on the top. Can't do anything there. Oh, look, there are some things on the wall. If I click that thing, oh, I can move this little frog painting or whatever, and it makes a squeaky noise. Good for it. Somebody interrupt me before I leave the frog painting. There's a key on the back of it. So just saying, like little clues and hints along the way. If you've ever done a real life room escape, they can be kind of daunting, especially with like a countdown clock. But obviously this thing is free. This thing is absolutely free. And now that link that I sent you obviously is live. You might not be able to save your progress, but you may be able to escape before this class period is out. Oh, I left my volume on. There we go. Now, again, just for the sake of argument, I can click this key and turn, there's nothing on the other side. Sometimes there are clues on the other side. But I got this little froggy thing. Okay, click. Everything is pretty much interactable, or not interactable. You can interact with pretty much anything in this room. Now, like I said, if you want to give suggestions to the people around you or just kind of keep those secrets to yourself, that's up to you. But if you do have any questions as to, well, I have all of this stuff, what do I do next? Ask me, because I've been through this room a number of times, and I do have a lot of suggestions that I could potentially give you. So take some time, mess around with it, have some fun with this room. What did you just discover?
No, I was looking at the door.
The door?
The drawer.
Oh, the drawer on the desk?
Yeah. If you open the second,
there's a little arrow.
Yeah, but then you back out of it, and then you should be able to change your camera angle. Eventually, you'll see it on the side.
Yep, there it is. That's the first, not the first clue of the entire game, obviously, but that's the first big clue that a lot of people miss because they see that little arrow and they don't know what to do with it. But yeah, you can then click it, and now you have a new object. You have a little pink little square, I guess, or something like that. Say one more time.
It's on the floor.
Oh, on the floor?
Yeah, click on the left. Yeah, there.
Oh, would you look at that? You're missing a clue, though. Can I tell you what clue you're missing?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to give you 2 hints right here, ready to kind of move you along. Ready? Check this out. First of all, if you look up at the wall right here, first of all, there's a picture that's missing. Second of all, you have a little equation right here that you may have to do. Did you look at the objects that you picked up? So clue number 1, there's this equation on the wall. Clue number 2, click the object. Always see if there's something on the back. Always. Take some time. See how far you can get. For those of you in the chat, if you do have any questions along the way, of course, you can ask me. I have no problem kind of giving suggestions and hints along the way. Yep. Can you use what? Oh, nice. Did you turn the controller around? There you go. Also, there are piranhas. Be careful. You think I'm joking, but look right up here. There are piranhas. So I'm just gonna, for the people in the chat, I am just going to leave a message for those who may end up showing up late, just as to what we're doing today. Bless you. Just for the sake of argument, where did you find the remote? Ah, there it is. Obviously, clicking on everything is usually a good idea. Clearly missing a battery right there. The remote most likely goes to the TV. But click whatever you can. Oh, look, there's a key with piranhas. You mentioned clicking to the left of the desk right here to get that one thing. Yes, looking to the sides of things is usually a good idea. There's a 3-digit code that's needed there. A password that you can literally type in yourself. Let's see, what else? Bookshelf, where you can pick up books and put them down, but they don't do anything. This is locked. This is locked, which you need a 4-digit code to do that. That's locked. Oh, anyone, did the key work on this one? Ah, a battery, which you said it worked by putting it in here. Now, most of you have probably been able to figure out this particular part, but if you click the object like I did right here, not actually bring up the object, but if you click it to highlight it and then click the TV, you can actually turn that TV on once you have both batteries in there. There we go. There's a lion. There's a button. This is a small hint for later. This is a small hint for later. But did anybody look on top of the security camera? You can't get it yet. You can't get it yet, but you will eventually. let's take another step. You can move this plant. Hopefully you saw that if you move the plant, there's a piece of paper behind it. Right there. And this piece of paper says ID secret. Okay, just says ID secret. Anything on the back? Nope, there's nothing on the back. I thought about typing it in here, but nothing happens when I type in the word secret. You can also interact with this, but you can't do anything yet. People tend to get stuck at this point, kind of figure out what to interact with. You can move the plant on the window and pick up this weird looking mushroom. That's all you can do there. And you're just kind of like, well, what do I do next? Your next clue. Well, first of all, that should be a duck. I don't know where the duck picture went. There's piranhas surrounding a key. There's lambs on a little tree there. Cool. Channel 5 is dead. And then that's it. This is your next clue. This picture on the TV on channel 4. How long is the password? Do you know what? Now, I tried the word secret. Secret's 6 letters. I tried it, but the thing said error. This is the part that gets people so stinking frustrated because it's like, well, I don't know what the password is, and there's no other hint inside the room. And it actually ends up being kind of a clever little trick. But check this out. No, remember this up here. Remember this image right here of the password. And now watch what I'm about to do. And that gets you to the next step. If you literally just type in 6 stars. That's the part that gets people the most frustrated. But from there, you should be able to do a lot more stuff. Let's see what happens. Yep. No printer found. Connecting to the camera. Hopefully you know to move it down. And that blue piece falls. Got it where you got to use your math detective skills. Now, I don't remember, so you're going to have to tell me. Was it a 68 or was it an 89? Huh. Or was it a 19 or a 61? There should be enough hints in the room to tell you whether or not it's one of those two numbers. Perhaps right here. According to the picture, it should be an 89 based on the way that that thing is positioned. And it should be a 61 based on the way that that is positioned. So 40 times 61 plus 89 gives me 2529. Say again? 25, 29. Ooh, and a snowman. That's fun. A printer. There we go. Nice. Printer. Oh. Let's try the stars again. Yeah, I know. Because that was hidden behind a plant. It looks like something, what? That looks like a computer? Oh, the TV? Well, I want to see if you guys can figure out what you're supposed to do with this. You do? What do you do? Exactly. It says new news if you angle it just so. What do you do with new news? Just read it. It's funny because I've done so many room escapes, whether it be online or in person. Anybody familiar with the online computer game Myst? No? All right, whatever. No, there's this online computer series called Myst that came out originally in the 90s, and they had 5 volumes, and my wife and I are currently working through Myst 5, where it's basically like this you're in a world where the entire world is like a room escape, where you're trying to figure out puzzles and little tiny subtle hints from one thing to the next, and then ultimately trying to beat the game. My wife and I are nerds. One time we did one of the room escapes on this guy's website when Flash was still working, and he just released it. And it was this really big, like 4-star game. It took us 3 days to get that thing done. Insane. What'd you figure out? No, I know. I just wanted to point this out first. The compass thing is telling you north, south, east, west. And then over here, same symbol. New news. You got a hook. What dost one do with the hook? This is the part that, again, I'm trying to help you through the pitfalls. This is the part that people get a little stuck at again, because you can put the objects together like you did with the remote and the battery. So what are you going to put this with? There we go. And now we can do this. Got myself a key. Not to there. Oh, right, to here. Woo! You didn't get those lambs. Wait, is it lambs or sheep? The English language is terrible. Why isn't it shoop? Think about it. If you see one sheep, it's a sheep. If you see multiple sheep, they're sheep. Like moose. So you got a tree, get that thing. Hopefully you remember the bolt that was on this thing right here. This thing still won't open. You're nodding your head. Yes. What do you recognize? You can put the blocks on top. Oh, sorry. You picked it up at the very beginning of the game. I highly recommend that you do like a real life room escape, because there's no better thrill than like putting pieces of a puzzle together. It's a lot of fun. One time I was doing a room escape with a few people, and we realized that our next clue was in this barrel, but the clue was in the bottom of the barrel, and it was like floating on a cork. But we couldn't reach our hand in because the hole was too small. And then we had discovered this like length of tube. So it's like, okay, we can fit the tube in there, but how do we put more like water into it? And then we discovered a pitcher of water inside of a cabinet. But the pitcher of water was attached to a chain, and you couldn't get the pitcher of water across the room. So you had to like have one person holding the tube, one person kind of making sure it's in the barrel, and the other person carefully pouring it into the tube to get water to raise that thing so you can get the next clue. It was amazing. That's real life skills for surviving. I don't know. So what do I do? Yeah. And then the tree, and then the mushroom. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. Oop. Boom. Then you get a card that says light. Now, hopefully, again, you remember from over here. The card goes in there. And now the lights are out. They're just out. I would highly recommend writing down some of the numbers that you see, or typing them in like, a Word doc or something like that, just because you don't want to have to keep referencing them or having to go back to that image. But this is the not the last big clue, but this is one of the last big clues on this website, Room Escape. I want to see what you do with it. Wait, is it? No, it's not the last big clue, actually. I apologize. There are other big clues after it, but this is one of the big turning points that gets a lot of people stuck. Clearly, you can turn the lights back on and off whenever you want. You know, we turn them on, they'll go away. Turn them back on, that kind of thing. I'm gonna let you hang on that thread for a little bit to see if you guys can figure out the next step. But definitely write down 27 equals 48, 51, 63, and the fact that this one says 74, 63. Did you try opening up the frog and the lion poster and then turning out the lights? Try opening up the frog and the lion poster, then turn out the lights. What's wrong with this thing compared to all the other clues they gave you on the wall? Okay. What's it supposed to say? Oh no, but instead of an O, they made it a 1? That's interesting. Instead of an O, they made it a 1. What was this one supposed to say? Oh no, but instead of an O, they made it a 1. There's an alphanumeric code here. There's an alphanumeric code here. Lion. And then this one, obviously frog. The 1 should be an O. And then, do you remember what poster was supposed to be here? Duck, D-U-C-K. And then based on all of that, you can solve this. Knowing that it's a frog, a lion, and a duck, you now know what all these numbers should equal. What's it say? ID equals unlock. Yeah. If you go to the printer, you can type in the word unlock because ID equals unlock. Ooh. I'm moving it along just a little bit because I know I got about 15 minutes and I know exactly how many puzzles are left in this room. But if you go to this door, and do it exactly in that order. Oh, there's the duck. Ah. But in the box, you get these new things. Now, this is why I was saying before I was a little hesitant to call it the last big puzzle of the game, because these two blocks are actually the last big puzzle of the game. And then there's a mini puzzle on top of it. Suggestions? What do we do? I got nothing. Looks like I'm missing the middle part. There is one other thing in this room that you haven't interacted with yet. Or not that you haven't interacted with it yet, but you haven't used it as a clue. I said everything in this room was a clue. Everything. You haven't used that. Solving this puzzle is the last big puzzle of the day. Figuring out how to maneuver these blocks and use this image to get the next clue. Basically, each letter on the block, if it's blue, needs to go on a blue spot. If it's white, it goes on that white spot, which is why this top white spot where my mouse is kind of circling around should be that T on the blue block. But the idea is that each adjacent side, it's like the block, if you were to basically take off the sides or to unravel the cube per se, then it would fit this particular pattern and each letter would be able to fill out this particular shape. If you had those kind of three-dimensional reasoning skills and were able to do such a thing, then you would figure out that it spells 1, 3, 9. It spells 1, 3, 9. Again, I tell you that because, I want you to see the ending. And then we go to here, and nothing happens. Why does nothing happen? I'm going to leave you on the hook for a little bit, see if you can figure it out. What was the hint? And how do you know that? Close after open. Now, this guy who made these like virtual escape rooms, very cool. He had honestly, he had dozens of these games, and some of them were just so stinking elaborate. There was one game that I played where I got out of the room, and then at the end it said congratulations, but that's not the true ending. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I had to go back into the game, redo all of that stuff, get to the end that I had gotten to, and then figure out what did I miss. And what I missed was when you enter that hallway, not this game, it was a different game, mind you, but when I entered the hallway to escape, I had to not escape, but turn around and close the door, and there was an additional clue on the back of that door, which eventually led me to the true ending. It was insane. There was one escape game, the one that my wife and I took 3 days to solve, where we're in this one tiny little room figuring out all these clues, and then when we think we've escaped, it actually opens the door to a staircase. You go into this staircase, it's a spiral stone staircase where that's a brand new room that you have to gather clues and escape from. Hold on.
Good morning, students and staff. This is Mr. McGee.
Is it?
Unfortunately, we are having a number of students that are getting passes and just walk from the hall. Teacher, I'm going to ask you to please limit your passes. Use your judgment, monitor time the students are out of the classroom, and let us all know if there's any students that are out for a long period of time. Again, please limit the passes. We have students that are just leaving classrooms and wandering the halls. Thank you, everyone.
I don't want to be the one to break it to them, but people have been doing that since September. Am I wrong? But anyway. But yeah, you're in the stone staircase and you have to gather all these clues again. And then when you gather all those clues, you basically unlock an elevator, which takes you up to a third room, and you have to solve all the clues in there. And eventually there's this like giant ball. And it's like, oh, what do we do with this giant ball? Well, the ball is eventually pushed down the staircase back into the original room that you were in, knocks down a wall. And now you have to enter another room, which is this giant like greenhouse type thing, which is like a mega room. It took us 3 days to solve that thing. It was amazing. It was the most amazing thing I've ever done in terms of a virtual room escape of all time. I would highly recommend them. I'm just saying, because there's one on the island. There's one in Tom's River. There's one in not Little Egg. It's not Little Egg, but I think it's like a bit farther down from Little Egg. But anyway, I'm just saying, I would highly recommend it. Go with a group, go with do what you got to do, but go do a room escape. They're so much fun. Anyway, for those of you in the chat, I know I have about like 6 minutes or so, but I'm going to sign off on the chat now. For those of you in the chat, if you have not left a comment, please make sure that you do so I can take an accurate attendance. Number one. Number two, do not forget that I am going to be sending you a survey to kind of debrief from the AP test. That survey is for me, because for future years of, just seeing what this test looks like, I really would like to know from year to year what this test looks like and what students' impressions are of that particular AP test. Number one. Number two, I am going to be sending you the first part of the final project, which the first part is just coming up with an idea and getting it approved by me. The instructions will be in the Google Classroom assignment when you actually get it. I'm going to be signing that before I leave the building here today. But that'll be due like Wednesday of next week. And then we will be moving forward towards the next few parts of this project because I still have to give you a grade for this course and whatnot. But then we'll kind of see where it goes from there. And then, of course, your quote unquote senior final exam is on, where is it? There it is. Tuesday, June 8th. But of course, again, you're not actually taking like a pen and paper exam. No, you've already taken your AP exam. But the final project will be acting as that kind of final exam kind of thing. So we're going to be building up the pieces from there. And then the last time I'll have all of you here, I believe, will be Thursday, June 10th. And then I will have the non-seniors on Monday, June 14th. Oh, yeah. And then there's that weird 18th Friday. You guys know about that, right? What a dumb day of school where you go to all 8 classes for like 20 minutes at a time. It's ridiculous. It's the most ridiculous thing. Why does it exist? I don't know. But anyway, I'm fairly certain the seniors don't have to attend on the 18th. But again, I would double check with whoever, knows more than I do in that case. But anyway, like I said, there's about 5 minutes left. I'm going to be turning off the live stream. So again, last chance to leave a comment in the live stream. But yeah, from there, we'll do that. By the way, somebody in one of my other classes took this apart. Does anybody know how to put stuff like this back together? What? Kind of. It's just like a wooden block that should fit together in a cube. Do you know how to do it?
No, I've done the 3D skull.
Okay.
I made a glass.
Just saying. She took it apart. I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out later, I guess. Oh, you're missing a piece. There we go. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to sign off on this live stream. Cool. I'm so sad that this guy's website were flat,